I see a black man and one man, I think of strength, black empowerment we have within, building community development. Let's continue to build our own. Let's continue to stay strong. Motivation, no matter the hate, no stopping. You just know. Listen up to Quan, John, and Queen P for giving us a voice. Speak up for what's yours and yell and make that noise. We are kings and we are queens. Melanated royalty, just getting started. Loving self, self and knowledge. Stack that wealth. Motivational motors, y'all.
Where'd you get your name from? Because that's kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie. I like that.
Extra Large Professor is basically I'm a huge fan of Nas. So one of his top professors, one of his top producers was Large Professor from Main Source. So being a big dude myself and actually being a for real college professor, I was like, hey, I want to be, instead of Dr. J.L. Adolph, I was like, yeah, let me be the extra large professor. And that kind of stuck with me. In English, representing GSU, Georgia State University, Perimeter College. So,
okay, right. Interesting, very interesting. And definitely, yeah, Nas is definitely, he's definitely in the top 5 of all time, because you know that thing tends to be ambiguous, and like, you know, some say top 5, their top 5, but Nas has to be in everybody's top 5.
Yeah, he's definitely, he's on the top of my top 5. So
he's on the top,
like number 1.
Interesting.
He's number 1.
That's your number 1.
Number 1, man. Okay, I have him up there, man.
I'm trying to think who. See, my number 1 is kind of, I got to have a 1, A, B, and C. I don't know. I got to. I have to.
You know what? It's funny. We did the episode where we did our top 5s of women in hip hop, but we didn't do our top 5 men, because I struggled with women. I struggled to figure out who my top 5 women were. But I knew my top 5 fellas.
Definitely. Who did you have at the top?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So y'all gonna laugh at me though, because I'm the generation after you.
Right.
Okay.
So, okay, my top 5 is in no particular order, because I do not have an order for the top 5. So Nas, Talib Kweli. Well, Talib Kweli might be my number 1. He might be my number 1. J. Cole, I know he's new. Don't shake your head.
Okay, respectable.
Jay-Z, but like Jay-Z from I would say mid to late 90s.
Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z. Got you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And number 5. This is a hard one.
Oh.
I gotta do it. Mos Def. I gotta say it. Mos Def. I have to. I'm sorry. The Black Star album is probably my favorite hip hop album of all time. So I can't say Talib Kweli without Mos Def.
You know, Professor, as someone that studies the narratives of hip hop, how do you take that top 5?
Okay, it's not my top 5, but I do. But she does have some good picks. Like, for real, I think, you know what? Because you know, when we talk about the golden era of hip hop, you know, in the 90s and that sort of thing, I often look at who are the new guys that could have, you know, played in that era and that sort of thing. And I definitely would put J. Cole in that era. I think if you throw him back in it's kind of like, you know how we always had that debate about like could the Warriors played in the Bulls era and all of those different type of things. When I look at J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, I was like, they can go and they can dominate in that era as well. So I like most. I like Talib Kweli, but now, you know, because I feel like Nas kind of can take all of their energy and still have that street element too. So my top 5 is this: Nas 1. Number 2, and this is the God MC, Rakim. You gotta have Rod, because if you don't have Rod, you don't have Nas, you don't have Jay-Z.
That's right.
You know, so you don't have, so you have that. So then I got Big at my 3 spot. Storytelling is phenomenal. Then I have Jay at 4. And the reason because I mean, Jay, even outside of the lyricism, just what he keeps doing to advance the culture and how he has evolved over the time and longevity, you have to put him in there. And then my 5 spot, Andre 3000.
Yeah.
Oh, you hit me hard with that.
I'm putting Andre 3000.
That was a low blow, Professor. That was a low blow right there.
Why?
You know what? People from the South got something to say. I just
exactly. See, this is my thing. This is my take on the whole top 5 argument. I personally can't do it. I have to do it by errors. I have to. Okay. I can't do it because if I do not do it by errors, my top 5 don't exist. Because you brought up an interesting point. Without Rakim, there is no Nas.
Yes.
Right.
And if you put Rakim in the top 5, you have to put Big Daddy Kane in the top 5, in my opinion.
True.
He has to be either they 1, 2, or 2, 3, 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah.
Now that's them. If you put those 2, you have to put KRS-One in the top 5. That just knocks out 3 of the guys I had in my top 5. Done. Kane,
you gotta have
Chris. You gotta put those 3 in there. Now, let's say you try to move to the 90s era. Now we gotta fight over: does Nas go in? Does Jay go in? Does Big go in? Does Big Pun go in? A lot of people forget about Big Pun as a lyricist.
And Pac, we haven't even mentioned Pac.
I know Pac is like everybody's favorite, and I'm a huge Pac fan. But lyrically, I don't think he messes with half of the people we name.
You know why you have to give his?
He just has the mindset.
Pac is proper etiquette. This is why you have to. You're right. Lyrically, he's not better than the Jay-Z's and the Nas and the Bigs. However, look how much material he put in a little amount of time.
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
he
so
put out a lot of material,
authentic puts him at the top of the game.
You know what? But I think it's also when you think about Tupac, though, it's his persona as well. This is the first artist that was really able to bear his soul with all facets of his life. Right. You know, I always felt like, you know, with KRS-One or with Kane, they always had, you know, different, like it was always sides that you may not have known of them. But with Pac, he was vulnerable. He was able to lay it out. And I think he opened up the doors for people like DMX, who would come out later on and show his demons and stuff. He's like persona-wise, you know,
have to put him there.
Amazing, you know.
I think it's funny that you say that. I can't put Pac in my top 5. I can't, just because I'm a lover of lyrics. I listen to lyrics, so I can't put him in there. But I loved his mindset. Like you said, I loved his persona, his disposition, the image that he had, and what he wasn't afraid to say. Like for that, he's always going to be one of my favorite rappers. But to somebody that when I listen to music, I want to tune out and listen to lyrics. Like most people my age, and even from this generation, like born in the 2000s, they listen to beats. They don't listen to lyrics.
That's crazy.
That's why crazy. Nowadays give Eminem so much shade. It's like, man, M ain't nothing. M ain't nothing.
That's another thing. Hold up. You brought up an interesting point. M is in my top 5 in that particular era, though.
Right.
Okay.
M is the best lyricist in the last 20 years, man. My opinion. Lyricist, line for line, cadence, the metaphors, how he's able to say a bar, right? Then he can say another bar, and then he brings you back to that first bar that he said with different words.
All right, I'm gonna say something controversial, and I'm gonna make people upset, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I love him. I think he's a dope lyricist. However, I do think he gets by a little bit on white privilege, and this is a little bit of what I'm gonna say here, because let's be honest. What Eminem says on tracks is no different from what Redman did. I mean, actually, Redman kind of predates, like the shock, you know, the shock value of it, the metaphors and the lyrics. But Red, as an artist, could not get away with talking about, I'm going to murder the mother of my child. I'm going to, my mom,
you can't say
this and that. It was certain limits just in the Black community that you're not going to be able to say.
And I wouldn't say.
Eminem was able to do that because that. And I also say, like, lyrically, here's how I knew that Eminem is a little bit slightly, he's a dope lyricist. I definitely think he's in the top 10. Right. But what something showed me, when I listened to the BET Cypher, and it was him, Mos Def, and Black Thought.
That's right.
It is when you listen to Mos and you listen to Black Thought, they were just as lyrical as M.
Right.
Have just the punchlines, but I think what makes M stand out was just the shock value. Other than that, Black Thought killed that cipher. That cipher was like, Mos set it off.
He's underrated, Black Thought.
Black Thought.
Very underrated.
I think, I agree. I do have to say it. I'm a little mad that I agree, but I definitely agree because it is true. The only thing I could say is that what makes me actually like him more is that he realizes that. He is one of those people that knows he's working on white privilege and will even put it in his lyrics and don't care. Like he knows it's wrong. He lets you know that. He makes use of that. He's very, very aware of his complexion and the space that he's in and the role that he plays in that space. Like you listen to White America, that's probably one of my favorite Eminem songs of all time. Not because it wasn't lyrically genius or nothing like that, but I just love how blatant he was with it. He's like, I know I'm white and I'm making bad money because I'm white.
And
it's real. It's real. And that's why he's one of my favorites. Not my top 5, but definitely one of my favorites. And I love
think he's in the top 10. He's lyrically, he's up there. But even when he did the Slaughterhouse cipher, oh my God.
He killed that.
That was crazy. That was one of my favorites.
Really, Royce the 5'9" was my favorite.
Who? Royce the 5'9".
Oh, Royce is nasty. He honestly, lyrically, he's the splitting image of Eminem. They're like their mannerisms.
Yeah,
you could tell that they grew up together and they rhyme together because their mannerisms are the same. But does Royce get that same type of?
No,
I don't know.
Because
prestige, not at all.
In that same Slaughterhouse cipher, it was like Royce the 5'9" was downplayed so much just because they brought out Yellow Wolf. So when Yellow Wolf jumped in and he said what he had to say, they're like, "Oh, who is this white dude?" That same white privilege thing and that shock value downplay everybody else's lyrics because there was another white dude who stepped on the scene and was able to kill it.
And you know what? Okay. I was going to say it's just like in the NBA. Like in the 90s, we had this guy, White Chocolate, Jason Williams.
Sacramento Kings,
Sacramento Kings. I remember Allen Iverson was like, this dude don't do anything different than I do. But he was like, what it is he's white. And Black people are amazed when white folks can do when some white folks can do what we do. I mean, look at that. Like Black people been cooking for years. Paula Deen cooked something like, wow, that white lady can cook. You're like, what? Grandma been making this for years.